Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer brought to you by Forge College. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating topic. Now, if you caught our previous material on capstone assembly and delivery, you already know that cryptographic hashing is absolutely incredible for proving data hasn't been tampered with. It's kind of like a permanent digital wax seal. But as I was looking deeper into this whole system, I realized there's a catch. Hashing is great, for sure, but it absolutely doesn't solve everything.
See, while hashes are practically magical at proving the authenticity of a piece of data, they leave this massive glaring gap. Who actually decides the order? Hashes cannot independently figure out which block logically comes next. Imagine thousands of decentralized computers scattered all over the globe, literally talking over each other at the exact same time. It's chaotic. If two computers suggest a totally valid but different update simultaneously, well, who breaks the tie? Who decides what this single canonical truth of the network actually is? That is exactly the puzzle we're going to unpack today.
All right, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Why we need consensus. 2. Proposers and validators. 3. The traffic intersection model. 4. Safety versus liveness. 5. Network finality. And 6. We'll wrap it all up.
Let's jump right into section 1. Why we need consensus. Solving the agreement problem.
Okay, so what is a consensus mechanism? It's basically the set of rules and processes that let distributed participants agree on a single shared history, even when they can't fully trust each other. It sits right on top of our verified hash data to provide the final decision rules. Think of it as the ultimate referee. It solves 3 massive problems for the network. First, agreement. So everyone records the exact same history. Second, order. So the sequence of events actually makes logical sense. And third, termination. And termination is surprisingly crucial, because without it, the network just gets stuck debating forever and never actually makes any progress. It literally forces a system to make a call and move forward.
Moving on to part 2, proposers and validators, the active roles.
So, it turns out there are 2 main players making all of this happen behind the scenes. First up, we have the proposer. A proposer assembles a candidate block of transactions, signs it, and broadcasts it out. You can think of proposers as the originators. They're basically the ones raising their hands in an incredibly crowded room and shouting, "Hey everyone, I've got it. Here is a suggestion for the next chapter of our shared history." They do the heavy lifting initially to bundle things together into a coherent proposal. And then we have the validator. A validator receives those proposals, rigorously checks both the underlying cryptography and the application rules, and then they vote. So if proposers are the originators, validators are the adjudicators. They hold the ultimate power to turn a mere suggestion into permanent, unalterable history. They are the quality control department, making absolutely sure the proposer isn't trying to slip something invalid into the official record.
The dynamic between these two is really fascinating when you think about it. The proposer builds, the validator checks. Without a proposer, literally nothing new ever happens. The network just sits there totally stagnant. But without the validator, you just have a bunch of unverified rumors floating around. This strict separation of powers is the secret sauce to building trust in an environment where nobody actually trusts each other. You don't have to trust the proposer because you know a massive decentralized committee of validators is going to audit their work before it ever becomes official. Together, they create a completely reliable ledger right out of thin air.
Section 3. The traffic intersection model, a mental model for consensus.
To make this totally concrete for us, I want you to imagine a busy, chaotic traffic intersection. You've got multiple inbound lanes, crossing traffic, pedestrians, and traffic lights controlling who goes when. Honestly, if you've ever driven during rush hour, you know exactly how much coordination it takes to keep things moving without causing a total disaster. Well, this is actually a perfect representation of how a decentralized network handles massive amounts of incoming data and coordinates all of its moving parts. Let's map this out so it really clicks. In our decentralized network, the transactions, those are the vehicles trying to get through the intersection. The validators, they're the lane controllers flipping the traffic lights. Safety means we have absolutely 0 collisions in the middle of the intersection, no cars crashing into each other. And liveness means the traffic actually keeps moving. Nobody is stuck waiting at a red light for the rest of eternity. It's just a beautifully simple way to visualize a highly complex digital process.
Which brings us to section 4, safety versus liveness, the core trade-off.
This is the ultimate balancing act in system design. Safety ensures no conflicting commits, meaning cars never ever crash in our intersection. Liveness ensures progress. The light actually turns green eventually.
And these two properties, they are in constant tension. If you over-optimize for safety, you might just program all the traffic lights to stay red permanently. I mean, sure, you get exactly 0 crashes, which sounds great, but no one ever gets to work. On the flip side, if you over-optimize for liveness and just let everyone go at once to keep things moving fast, you get a catastrophic network-halting collision. Consensus mechanisms are constantly walking this tightrope, trying to be as fast as possible without ever compromising the safety of the ledger.
And that brings us to a wildly interesting concept, the Byzantine fault. This happens when a participant acts maliciously or just completely unpredictably. Going back to our traffic intersection, imagine a rogue traffic controller who decides it would be hilarious to give green lights to crossing lanes at the exact same time. Or picture a driver who suddenly throws it in reverse right in the middle of the intersection. Decentralized networks don't assume everyone is playing by the rules. They assume these chaotic actors are already in the system, and they have to survive them anyway.
So how do we survive those chaotic rogue controllers? Well, we do it through a simple sequence and a strict voting threshold. First, the proposer creates a block. Then, validators step in to check it and cast their votes. Finally, a commit threshold is reached. By requiring a specific percentage, often a supermajority, of honest validators to agree, the system mathematically ensures that even if a few bad actors try to cause a massive pileup, their votes are just drowned out. The honest majority keeps the intersection running smoothly, completely ignoring the rogue controllers.
All right, Section 5, Understanding Network Finality. When is the decision actually permanent?
We actually have two distinct flavors of finality here, and understanding the difference is key to knowing how these networks operate in the real world. Deterministic finality means a decision is mathematically irreversible by rule. It's like a physical steel barrier locking into place at a traffic light. It is never, ever changing back. Probabilistic finality, on the other hand, means a decision just becomes increasingly unlikely to revert over time. As more cars pass through without an issue, you feel totally confident the light won't suddenly change back. And this distinction matters for you because if you're buying a $3 cup of coffee with crypto, probabilistic finality is totally fine. You wait a few seconds and you're good. But if you're transferring the $1 million deed to a house, yeah, you probably want the absolute certainty of that deterministic lock.
Section 6. Let's wrap this up with our key takeaways.
Let's lock this all in. Cryptographic hashes give us our crucial data integrity, but the consensus mechanism is what actually gives us order. Proposers originate the ideas, validators adjudicate them and make them official, safety prevents those catastrophic network collisions, while liveness ensures the traffic keeps flowing and the system doesn't just stall out, and finally, finality can be deterministic or probabilistic depending on the network's design. The absolute biggest takeaway here, the real aha moment for us, is the total separation between proving a piece of data is authentic and getting a massive global network of strangers to actually agree on its place in history.
Before we go, I want you to think about this for a second. What happens when you use computational work as the ultimate traffic controller? It's a fascinating question, and honestly, it is the perfect tease for understanding the mechanics of proof of work, which is exactly what we'll tackle in our next lesson. Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with me today. Be sure to visit forge.college to learn more about this subject, dive into other amazing Web3 topics, and continue your learning journey. Keep exploring, and I will see you in the next one.